What's up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host Heather C. I Love a Mama's Boy. Season 2, Episode 2 aired last night. It was crazy. We're going to jump right in. Stephanie, Liz, and Mike are back. They made their return last night on Episode 2. And they were doing pretty well last season. I'm a bit worried this season just based on what we saw because we had never really seen them physically, not physically, verbally fight. They're going through some things this season early on. And it started with them not moving to LA, which is where Stephanie had a really good opportunity for a job. And we were under the impression they were already there. So we come back into this season and we find out they're not there. Mike has bought a condo closer to his mom's that she's decorating, and things are just kind of taking a weird, strange turn, and I'm really worried.
I'm a little shocked this season because I don't know if it's too early to really, try to jump to conclusions or anything, but just the episode alone that I saw, I felt like Mike is a little different. I don't know if the pressure is on, but I felt like he wasn't really being fair to his relationship and her feelings. Even if it's your house, your condo, your apartment, whatever, you're building a relationship. So as long as your relationship is strong and you're trying to make it long-term and take it to the next step by having somebody move in with you, it now becomes yours, not me. So I feel like when you say to somebody, that's mine, you're not maybe ready to be in the next step because it should be us or we. It's not always about who is the one who primarily pays for it. It's how you decide to divvy it up and spend it together. His mom's, obviously her opinion is important to him. He loves his mom, as he should. But his place is with Steph and not his mom. So take her opinion, but also take your girlfriend's opinion. She's the one that lives there. Don't just say, and nothing got me more than when he added, mom's always right. It's dude, okay, if you wanted to go with that couch, it was a beautiful couch, by the way, but you knew that Steph was upset about it. I just feel like, in my opinion, you could have just left it as, you know what, I like this couch. I think I'm going to go with it. I hope that's okay with you. You don't add, mom knows best, because then now you put the blame on your mom, and then there's the animosity. That's why Liz and Steph bump heads. It's the little things like that that are triggering to people.
I agree. I'm really worried, though, because I like Mike and Stephanie together. So
I do, too.
I don't want this to go any more far left than it has. Hopefully they can work this out. And being closer to Liz is going to be an obstacle in itself. So we'll just have to see what happens this season as we continue. And fingers crossed, I love you guys together. I hope it's all okay.
Me too.
All right, so Brian, Tracy, and Jane were back last night, fresh off their wedding. Tracy wanted to make sure that Brian was... I was using the word uninvite all last night on Twitter. That's not a word. Disinvite Jane from the honeymoon.
It's whatever you want it to be, really.
Right? And Brian actually attempted to have that conversation. First of all, when she told him to have that conversation, the first thing that went through my mind was, he's not going to do it. I was wrong. He had that conversation. He just wasn't really ready for his mom's comebacks and ammunition for the fight. She was not taking that as you're not coming, and she kept going and going, and it ended up happening to where he blamed this whole conversation on Tracy, which I didn't like. As a unit, especially as married, the conversation and the situation was brought on by both of you, not just one of you. That's why you were having that conversation. I never liked blaming or throwing. I use the term throwing someone under the bus. I felt like he said, well, now that I see my mom is upset that I brought this up, I'm going to throw Tracy under the bus because I don't want her to be mad at me. I don't like that when it comes to relationships.
This is one key factor that ties all of these mama boys in. If you notice that all the guys that are on this show, they've all, if not every episode, every one episode, whatever, they all do the same thing. They don't want to be the bad guy to hurt their mom's feelings. Yep. So they use their girlfriends or wives as kind of the shield. And they're the bad guy. So that way it's no, you can't be mad at me. It's their fault. So the same thing happened with Shakib. The same thing happened with, Kimberly and Matt, and so on and so on. So I think before he invited his mom and her, same thing with her, before anybody invites anybody, you should talk it over and say, hey, This is what I'm thinking. I'm really close to my mom. What are your thoughts on, we're having a honeymoon, let's invite her. She could be a free babysitter, whatever. She's going to get her own room. And then see how the feelings are, because now you have to be the bad guy. You have to say, oh, I know you were, looking forward to this, but now it's not going to work out. That is going to hurt more than if you just come up with a game plan and just say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And then maybe you guys can come together and come with some type of be a middleman and find a plan that works for everybody.
Right. We're going to have to see what happens because as far as I know from the preview, she was on the honeymoon.
Yeah.
But as of right now, we don't know that
Right.
yet. But I'm pretty sure she's still going to be there. So she did stand her ground, and we're just going to have to see how that works out. Can't imagine a mom being on a honeymoon, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Always a first.
So let's talk about Matt and Kelly. I left Kim out because he left her out most of last night's episode. There was a poker party with his mom and their friends, and Kim was basically in her room FaceTiming her friend, talking about this amazing job opportunity she's been offered in Austin, Texas, which she really wants to take, but she knows deep down there's no possible way Kelly will let Matt leave the state for a year. We all know that. We don't know them personally, but we know Kelly will never allow him to live in another state that she's not present in for a year. So I don't know how this is going to work, because this is an amazing opportunity, and for her to take the opportunity could mean the end of her relationship. So I honestly don't know how it could go.
I mean, she said that it was just for a year. So if their relationship is super strong, which I feel like it has to be, because she deals with a lot. I mean, his relationship with his mom is a lot. She's awesome, but she's got a very strong personality, and she's very possessive over her son. She always has to be in the middle of everything. So I feel like with her kind of dealing with that on an everyday basis, this might not be as hard as we think it's going to be. I mean, even if he stays with his mom and she goes, whatever works, So I'm anxious to see how this pans out.
Yeah, I just want to see. She has to tell him first.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know.
Right.
So we're wondering how it's going to go. He doesn't even know. So hopefully by next week, she'll actually tell him about the situation, and then they can kind of come together and make a decision based on that, because he doesn't even know what's going on. He literally has no clue what's going on.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about Shakib and Emily and Layla. So Emily is ready to give it another shot, and believe it or not, Layla is also ready to give it another shot. She's not going to apologize, but she's also going to say the past is in the past, and they can start over, and Emily can have a second chance at being with Shakib, and she's going to try her best to be respectful towards her, and vice versa. But Emily is not taking that at face value. She said it has to be more. Shakib has to move out of his mother's house. He has to buy her a ring. He has to show her more than just, okay, my mom is okay with it. That's not enough for her. And I kind of agree. She really does need to be shown she's important and that she's a part of his life, because to this point, she hasn't even gotten an apology yet.
Okay, so this one is a tough one, because I'm a firm believer of take people how they are. When people, get into a relationship or a friendship or anything, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. And at that point, you're either going to love them or you're going to leave them. So she already had a relationship with him. She's already met his mother. She's already, dealt with how his mom feels about her and everything. And technically, any person in their right mind, if they were treated unfairly, would normally say, look, I really like you, but if this is, the grounds for this, it's not going to work out. Yeah. So the fact that she put that aside, got back with him, knowing that nothing was fixed or mended between her and Layla, mm-hmm. I agree wholeheartedly that people should treat people with kindness or whatever, but she also knew the situation, and she got back with him knowing what the situation was. Mm-hmm. So to come in full force with all these listed demands, you're kind of setting yourself up because you didn't get it the last time. Yes, if he wants to be with you, he should start a relationship, move out, do this, that, and the other. But if that's not where you were when you left off, that might not be where you are when you get back in. So maybe they should have started things slowly. What's the first steps? Because she's going to end up setting herself up for being upset if it doesn't work out again, and they might not be able to mend it the third time around.
Yeah, her list of demands are high, and she's expecting a lot fast. And she deserves the best. You know, don't get me wrong. She was put through a lot. But again, like you said, when you previously dated this person and things were how they were, drastic change is something that takes time. You can't change drastically overnight.
And Layla is very passionate. She loves Shakib. We all see that she was at the gym with her tangerines.
I loved her at the gym. She got dressed to work out and didn't lift one weight. Right. I loved it. I love that.
She's so cute. But I love their relationship. I love how passionate she is about her son and how much she truly loves and cares about him. And I think that's why she only wants the best for him. But as far as Emily goes, she also, like you said, deserves the best. But they need to start off slow because you got two different case scenarios. Yeah.
I want to see Emily and Layla go out on a date.
Right.
Daughter-in-law, mother date, you know, just try to get to know each other and find some common ground other than Shakib. I think that's the problem. Shakib is the common ground and they don't see eye to eye there. They need to find something that they can do together. All right, guys, that's it for this one. This was episode 2. We are just 2 episodes in. There's so much going on. I cannot wait. There's still a mama's boy and a mom that we haven't even met yet. This season is just insane. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and make sure you live tweet with us every Sunday night. I love a mama's boy after 90 Day Fiance the other way. My Twitter is at George Mossey. Her Twitter is at Pinky69Brit. Again, I'm George Mossey. This is Heather C. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys really soon.
Bye.